Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little more work on Project Dirtbag's motor. Join me. Rockers out, and we're going to be installing this Trunion kit from Summit Racing. Basically just replaces these needle bearing guys that are in these races here on either side of the trunnion, which is in the rocker. Just replace some of these little, they're bronze bushings, replaces them with these little guys. I've never actually had one of these fail. I've seen other people that have had them fail. I have heard about them failing. I just don't want to chance it. It's like $100 and something to upgrade these. I'm going to run this motor at extremely high RPM, banging the rev limiter while we do burnouts. So I don't want something to blow up. This is a free purchase, well, free mod, I guess. I already had that laying around that was going to go in the Chevelle, and it's just going to get repurposed back into this. So it doesn't count against our budget, but it will be a worthwhile mod. I did take the factory ones out, the rockers. You can see they have the little doodabber in there that rotates, and they got the needle bearings. So we're going to press these out. Instructions call for a press, which I have right here. No, it's not a press, but we're going to use this. I got a 1-inch socket on the catching end, 1-inch socket, 10 millimeter, and 14 millimeter. That's just what I'm using. Your socket sizes may vary. Basically, one side catches the junk I push out, and the other side catches right around that race there, just to press this little guy through. And the 10 millimeter is when I get to the final step and I want to center these guys in here. I can kind of just press on just that shaft. Could use, I think I did use a 16 millimeter at one point just to catch on the bushing itself to center that up. Basically, I just wanted it, I got OCD, I just wanted it centered. So I'm going to press one of these out for you and show how I do it. All right, grab one of these guys, get my little catcher guy centered up on there best I can. And 14 millimeter. Set this all up like so. You do have a press that would make this a whole lot easier, but I don't have room in here for one. So I do what I do. If I don't, it's not working right. Make sure you let all that go on the floor. Make a mess for later. You load pressure against this side. So once you get this part straight, then you can apply pressure here. The dance. Once you get, once you get this set on there straight, yeah, it's all holding itself. And all I'm doing is tightening it down and adjusting where I'm at. So give it, tighten it a little bit. Nope, tighten it a little bit. Up. Checking to make sure I'm straight. Give a little bit more. Oh, don't move it. Move it. Now you slowly go in. Slowly go in. We're not bound up on anything. Is it getting hard? No, so. Up, back up. Now, probably need to go just a touch more. And tighten. Yep, stop. Back up. Over. All right. Did your first trunnion upgrade. 02 to 04 or 04 to 06, I think it was the 06 cam. That cam is, for a factory cam is more than the truck cam. It is a smaller cam, but it was a factory upgrade over the 190, 191 or whatever that these truck cams are. So I got one of those and swapped it in. Had no idea at the time what base circles were, and that was a thing that changed between the LS motors. Figured that all of them just swapped over, early days of the internet and all. This was, God, 2008 or 9, maybe 2010. Had that sewing machine noise that you get when you don't measure your push rods and put push rods in. And it was recommended that I went with a 7.4, which is what factory is, So what I'm getting at is I had a TSP back in the day, was the place. Ordered me some 7.4-inch push rods and I had to pull those out and put the right ones in. I think it was like 745 or 7425 or something that those need with the smaller base circle. Anyways, they've been sitting in my drawer for like 10 years and I'm finally going to get to use them. So I'm going to put them in this motor here. Boop, boop, boop. Makes it work better when you make the noises. Right. Do the other side. Boop. Welcome back. Got the trunnions installed, got the push rods installed, and my oil pump showed up. So we can get that installed and finally test this motor and see if we fix the problems that cause us to not have oil pressure to begin with. On the theme of trust but verify, I did pull off this oil filter. It's a STP flavor, not one that I really like. Reasons. Always check things. I mean, we've been through that on this motor. There's been numerous things that have been not quite right, but this little guy, not tight. So I don't know if that was just when I took the filter off. Maybe it took that with it, but we're going to verify that and make sure that this passage is still good and get this tightened back on there and get a new filter on it. Again, just check all your stuff, make sure it's good. We want to make sure this engine has pressure before we put it back in. So let's get to it. Get this old oil pan off and get the new oil pump on. Just kidding. Instructions. Read them. It'll tell you which O-ring you need. We have one of these two guys. It's got the little bulge on it and it tapers down. And if it's 0.84 inches down here by the bulb, then you want the green O-ring. If it's 0.87, you want the black O-ring. See what we got. We have the bulge there. So we're going to measure right next to the bulge. And we're at 0.87. So that means we need the black O-ring. Science.
Uh-oh.
Here you go, Aaron. Okay, guys, got kind of a unique setup here, as I want to test this engine before I put it back in the truck, just to make sure we're getting oil pressure and we actually fix something. If not, I don't have to pull it back out and toss the engine or whatever I got to do. So what does that mean? That means I have to rig up a starting system on this, which I'm going to do using the Chevelle. So I've got negative on got the starter on, got the negative on the starter post or starter body, and positive on the positive lug on the starter. Let's go into the Chevelle battery. I'm going to keep that juiced up with the battery charger. And I made a switch, a couple wires there going from the start solenoid terminal to the battery positive, so I can just do things on there. Have the mechanical gauge up, and we're going to be monitoring the oil pressure to see what happens. Hopefully at some point this is going to pick up pressure. I know they make tools and do things and stuff, but this is how we're going to do it. We're either going to get oil pressure here, or we're going to put this motor in the trash can. Fingers crossed. All right, guys, the next step we're going to do is try to prime this. I know it doesn't need it, but I'm just being extra cautious. We're going to use a number 8, and we're going to strip this out. And I'm going to take this plug out and get some 3/8 fuel hose and a funnel. We're just going to jam this fuel hose in there. I probably should have done this before I made the funnel on there, but you kind of thread it in. You want to go in like they say an inch or inch and a half. So we're going to get that in there. We're just going to pour a little bit of fluid in there, a little oil. This should drain right down into the oil pump and make a huge mess. Tiny hose takes a long time. Well, cranked it over. Didn't get this on camera, of course, because I wasn't filming. But I cranked the motor over and cranked for about 5 or 8 seconds, and 0 oil pressure built up. So I stopped because I don't know how much is still in there from when I just drooped it down on the bearings and things. So for safety, I stopped and got to figure out what's going on here. So I pulled off the timing cover, and I had primed the oil pump through the block port on the side of the block. There's oil in the pump. All right, welcome to the party that I named I'm Not Asking Anymore. Had things happening here. I tried to hook the Chevelle up. Chevelle's battery is dead. Hooked the jump box to it. That's dead. Hooked the battery charger to it. That doesn't feed out enough load to properly feed this setup. Remote battery, whatever. So I can't use the Chevelle now. I did get the motor to spin a little bit, and it's not, like maybe a couple seconds, and it's not getting pressure. So I took off the oil pressure sending unit, the mechanical guy, and when I tightened it back on, it snapped off. So then I had to take a 3-wire serial data oil pressure sender, cut that off, drill that, tap that, put this plug in there, get that in without breaking that. Next, I verified that my oil pump had primed. I took the cover off, and oil's everywhere. So there's oil getting in the pump and up somewhere. Took the valve covers off. There's oil up here. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I just need to give it a little bit more send. Then more stuff happened. I tried to get on here to film with you guys, and my microphone is dead. So I'm on a backup microphone, so it's probably going to sound like turds. Anywho, I brought the truck in here because, that runs. I need to knock on wood or something. And we're going to see if we can spin this thing over. So hopefully I can get some goddamn oil pressure. Join me. Here we go. That sounds gross. The needle didn't even move. But I do have oil coming out of the pump here. Maybe that's part of my issue. Oh, magnets. Maybe that's part of my issue. What's going on there? I'm not making a seal on that pump, I guess. Hold please. Okay, well, on today's episode, I wasn't asking. The oil plug, little valley plug over here. Sorry for the lighting. If you look at the diagrams online, that feeds from the oil pump, goes back down the rail here, goes in, down through the oil filter, back up the oil filter, and feeds into like the cam bearings. So you can look up the picture, or I might post it up here if I decide to when I'm editing. Anyways, I know I have fluid coming out of the pump, and I know the pump is good. I mean, I'm assuming it is because it's brand new. It's trying to pump up when I'm cranking it, but when I'm cranking it, it comes out the front of the pump. So it comes out right in here. So to me that says I'm trying to pump, but I can't, and pressure's got to go somewhere, so it's out the backside. So that tells me that I have a block somewhere. So I took off that plug. Now that everything's primed, oil's going to go everywhere. I got to show you. If I can find it now. Oh, hooked up this little guy. I love this little guy. Got this with an AC charge kit or something, flush kit. Great, because it fits all the holes, so you just jam it in there. So I jammed that in there and sprayed it with some air, shop air. So I applied a little bit of shop air, and you can hear things bubbling, which I'm assuming is I'm pushing oil around in the tank. Hand cranked the motor a little bit, tried to get something, going. And now we're going to see if that worked. I'm really flipping hoping it did. So join me as I set you up for that. There we go, as Mickey Mouse says. Okay, that's enough for proof of concept. I have oil pressure now. Woohoo! Well, we got a lot figured out in the last couple days. Had a horrible oiling system installed on this. Got some new parts on it. Got a new O-ring in it. Got the pan pickup tube, so it's going to pick up the way it needs to pick up. And I shouldn't have any more issues out of it. The dipstick they sent, I'm not sure if that lines up or not, but it's got 5.5 quarts in there. And I'm just going to mark it where that's full. We do have oil pressure to the motor, so that's a good thing. Now I'm just going to wait for the camshaft that I ordered. Richard Holdner had a sale on his site for the low buck truck cam with springs. It was like $220. Could not pass that up since I'm already in this thing elbow deep. So as soon as that cam gets here, we're going to throw that in there and then throw the motor back in the truck. You guys didn't think we get off that easy with Project Dirtbag, did you? Well, you haven't been to the party then. Everything you put on, you got to take off 6 more times. So on that trend, let's drain this oil back out. Brand new oil, put it back in the can. Let's get this oil pan off, and let's figure out a way to get the bolt that I snapped off the back of the block. Okay, we learned things today. You're only supposed to be like 8 foot-pounds on these back bolts. So don't listen to Alexa when she says that it's supposed to be 8 to 15 or some crap. we're just going to go 8 foot-pounds on these and hope this one doesn't break too. There it is, 8. Let me make the rest of these 15. Although, took some elbow grease here and some thinking on some things, but we got it figured out. Sometimes you got to think outside the box. I don't know why that particular port or passage between the pickup, well, the output of the pump and going into the oil filter was clogged, but it was. Got some stuff that shot out of there. So check your stuff. There was some signs that I saw now that I know what it was. When I look back at the videos that I already shot for this video, you can see some junk in the pan that I cleaned out. Looked like mud. So probably a lot of sludge in this motor beforehand, or somebody got a bunch of junk in there. Either way, that's not good. We got most of that cleared out. Should have been caught in the filter, and whatever else will work its way through, and I'll do an oil change right after I get this thing up and running and do some burnouts on it. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Action. I just wake up and piss excellence, and I want to go fast.
You're not first, you're last.
I was high when I said that. Did real good. Car ran real good.